Okay, good morning, kiddos. Hopefully by now you've seen the great lesson that Miss Merriman did on salmon. It's been fun working with her this week. But what we're going to be working on today is actually we're going to be doing some thinking about the book about the Year of Miss Agnes that we've been reading so far. So I have 3 questions for you. I'm going to read through them and then I'm going to be sending this document to you. And with this document, I've also included sentence frames, so that will help you do some of the thinking. So the first question says, based on what we've read about Frederica, what can we conclude about her? Now, another way of saying conclude is this idea of infer. Okay. Inference, when we infer something, we are kind of taking all the information that we have and putting it together to make another statement, okay, kind of come up with a conclusion. So our sentence frame is here. It says, based on what I've read about Fred, I can conclude, or another way of saying conclude is infer. Okay, so I wanted to kind of get that. I can infer what about her because. So the because here would be something that you've read about. So maybe, for instance, about Ms. B. Let's say, based on being in a class with Ms. B, I can conclude that Ms. B is a morning person, okay? Because her car is always first in the lot. She is perky in the morning. She's very bubbly, that type of thing. Okay, so we are making a conclusion about Ms. B based on something we have seen. So this is what you are going to be doing about Fred, our main character. So what can you infer about her? And this would be based on something we've read. Okay, let's go on to question number 2. And this has to do with the setting where the book takes place. The setting of the story is remote Alaska in 1948. Remote means it's very far away and there's not much to it. It's in the middle of the country, okay? The setting of the story is different from where you live in the Tri-Cities. How are the hardships the characters face similar to or different from your own? Okay, you get to choose one. Okay, you don't have to do both of these. And here are the sentence frames. The hardships the characters face in the Year of Miss Agnes are similar to me because we both, okay, so then you would think about what are some 2 things that you and a character in the Year of Miss Agnes have together. So you might choose that one, okay? Or the hardships the characters face in the Year of Miss Agnes are different than what I face because, okay, so how are they different? And I'm just thinking, I think I'm going to ask you to do both. Yeah, it sounds like Ms. B. I want you to do a similarity and I want you to do a difference. Now, this next question, I don't want you to flip out because there's a lot of writing. It's mostly from the text, and this is a deep thinking question. So this part here is a piece of text that I pulled from the Year of Miss Agnes. So I'm quoting it, okay? So we're looking at the text and then we're going to think about one part of it. So let me read this to you. This is from page 55 from the Year of Miss Agnes. And this is I actually typed this right in from the book. Here we used to think some things were so bad, you just had to give in to them, like being deaf or blind. But now we were finding out that there's always something they've thought of to help people like that. It was hard to do, this sign language and blind reading, but it's better to kick some instead of just sinking. What do you think Fred means when she says, and this is the part we're going to be thinking about, it's better to kick some instead of just sinking? Now, kids, I'm going to give you a hint right off the bat. Fred is not really talking about kicking anything. She's not talking about kicking a basketball or a soccer ball or a can or a rock. She's thinking about kicking something else. So what does she mean here? Because she says it in the book, it's better to kick some instead of just sinking. So you might need to read this a bit. And this is right towards the end, I believe, of what we were reading yesterday. Yeah, in chapter 8. And this is when we learned, remember, that Boko came to school. Okay, and Boko was deaf, but Miss Agnes was like, you're coming to school. And she was learning sign language and that type of thing. So this is relation to that, okay? And here is our sentence frame. I think Fred means, you're gonna tell me you're thinking there. So basically what I'm needing are 4 sentences, okay? And I will be sending you this document so you can download it. You could write right on it, or you can just write this on a piece of paper, or write it out for me. Okay, kids, I think that is it. And I will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye, kids.